Hello everyone, this is Sarah Anma from artofrelationship.net with another love moment for you. Today we're talking about the power of atonement. When we upset the harmony between our integrity and our actions, we can create a disturbance in the field or in the force that has long-lasting detrimental results. Even years ago, having consequences in today's relationships. Often we can be our own worst enemy and judge it very harshly. What happens is when we do something from ignorance or innocence, a lot of times we know rationally, well, I did the best that I could, okay, with the tools that I had, or I was young, or I was, foolish or whatever. But energetically and emotionally, we've broken our own hearts because we weren't able to show up in the manner that we wished we could have. For example, many years ago, several decades ago, I had a dear friend when I was a senior in high school, and she was diagnosed with leukemia before prom. She subsequently died, and during that time, I had no bandwidth, no coping mechanisms to handle the grief and the anger and the frustration and the confusion. I couldn't even ask questions about it without just shorting out. It really prevented me, this lack of bandwidth, this lack of coping mechanisms, prevented me from being the friend that I wanted to be and have that deep connection and that really great presence and witnessing that I've now come to experience but didn't know how to access back then. So I knew for many years that I did the best that I could with the tools that I had. However, I had broken my own heart in the inability to really show up for her in the way that I wanted to. So now more than 20 years later, I found something that I can do to atone, to correct the balance, to heal the old hurts that I had, and also to honor her in a really great way that really resonates for me. So I'm training for a marathon, and I'm going to run it in her honor. And it's really hard, and the physical exertion is really intense, but I think of it as a tiny fraction of the discomfort that she felt during the last months of her life. And also, I'm doing something that she'll never be able to do. Also, I get to raise funds for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society in her honor. So it's through me, but it's in her honor. And that's a way that I'm paying it forward for her and her family to support other people. And hopefully many of them won't go through the same thing that she did because they've made such huge strides in cancer research and treatment. So this entire process has been pretty extreme, I tell you, and the healing has happened in ways that I did not expect, but they've been very, very profound. And I get to feel her presence when I'm running, and I also really get choked up when I visualize myself running across the finish line after running 26.2 miles with her name on my heart, on my jersey. So there's a lot of ways that we can correct the balance and to get that harmony back, to atone for ourselves. And it's really more for atoning ourselves for ourselves rather than retribution to the outside world. But it can take that manifestation. So like somebody who feels like they squandered their college opportunity or their education, they could now go and donate some money, even a tiny amount, or donate some time or resources to that college. Or I know some person who was really upset at yelling somebody from their past and didn't think it work to intrude on that person, and they went and did some volunteer work at a domestic violence shelter, because that's where their yelling and fierceness could have taken them. So there's a lot of ways that we can atone. A small thing is if you felt like you did things to hurt yourself when you were young because you didn't have the bandwidth like I didn't, or the coping mechanisms, or the self-esteem, you can just buy a book on self-esteem for teens and take it to the Boys and Girls Club. So it can be big or it can be small, but I tell you what, the energetic balancing that happens and the healing that happens from these efforts is immense. So your practical application can be to just kind of scan and see where there's some incomplete energy, something that needs to be righted in your field, not anybody else's standards, but just yours. And just get quiet and see, okay, well, how could I balance this energy? How could I tip the scale so it's more even in my heart? Not worrying about, if it's ethical or moral by anybody else's standards, but within your integrity. And of course, let me know how it goes, because once you do that, watch for the great payoff, because it'll happen. And I would love to celebrate it with you. So thanks for spending this time with me, and have a wonderful, wonderful day and effort, whatever it is.